Hey guys, good morning. So, happy Sunday. So, I'm going to today give y'all my personal testimony. I grew up in church from the time I was itty bitty baby. I grew up originally Baptist. When I was in third grade, my parents switched churches to a Pentecostal church, or an Assembly of God church now. And in third grade, I accepted Christ as my Savior. And in about fifth grade, I asked God to bless me with speaking in tongues. And speaking in tongues, in the way I interpret it, the way I feel it works, is it is a love language between you, your Holy Spirit, and God. That's the best way I can describe it. And when I'm like heavily involved in worship and all that, it just kind of flows right out. Unlike the way I'm talking right now, it just kind of comes right out. But if I'm not in worship, I can't really do it on command. So, God, I'm sorry, guys. I just woke up. And then, so I grew up in church. And when I was in 11th grade, let me back up. At the church that I grew up in, everybody loved, I would get people walking up to me going, "Oh my gosh, I just love to watch you when you worship." They're like, "You just go into your own bubble of a world and you have such a hunger and a passion and love for the Lord, and it's so obvious when you worship." And that was very true. And, but it was really hard when people say that to you not to get ego about it. So I'd always just say thank you and feel a little awkward as to why you're watching me worship when you're supposed to be worshiping yourself. But whatever. And then let me think about this. 11th grade. Everybody at my school knew I was a Christian. And a lot of people didn't care. I was never one of those allow me to inflict on you what. I was never real pushy. People knew I was a Christian and that I had a relationship with God and with Jesus, and that's where I stood with a lot of issues and stuff. And I would say at that point in time, I was very close-minded to things. Very close-minded. And I was young, and I didn't understand the way the world worked. And there was one person at my school who he really didn't like the fact that I was a Christian. Really didn't like it. He and I would constantly get into debates with each other. He was a Satanist. And he and I would constantly get into debates with each other. Well, he took it upon himself to one day while we were all on lunch, or out to lunch, he went into the school and went to my area where my desk was. And I had Bible verses and, all kinds of little things taped up in my area. And like a cross and, different Bible verses and stuff in my area. And he took it upon himself to go to my area and rip up everything that was in there. All my Bible verses that I had, everything was just messed up. He wrote 666 all over my desk, all over my area, just everywhere. And it really, really upset me. He got in trouble for obvious reasons. He was destructive of property. And at that point, I began to pray. I was like, God, I need a friend here at school that is just like me. That is on fire for God, that has a hunger for God. I need that friend. And I need them at VLC too, which was the church I was attending. And which is the church I basically grew up in from 3rd grade to even now. I still attend VLC. And so I'm praying and asking God, I need this friend. I need this person in my life to help, to keep me built up and accountable. I need this friend, God. And God answered that prayer. He brought my friend Alicia into my life. Yeah, Alicia had always kind of been in my life, but we weren't really friends. Until we really became friends when she started needing rides to church, and so she could be part of the drama team and with the youth group and stuff. And I just got my license, so I said, she didn't live that far from me, so I said I'd give her one. And that's when her and I became really good friends. And like the best of friends. I love her to death. Can't wait to go see her in a few weeks. Anyway, that's not the point of this. So sorry guys. So God answered that prayer by bringing Alicia to my life as a friend. And then that summer, Alicia moved to North Carolina because of her dad's job. She moved. And that was really hard for her and for us. It was hard for her for obvious reasons because she didn't want to move. She didn't want to live with friends. And it was hard for me because I didn't want her to leave me. And, but Alicia really was like my beacon of hope through my senior year of high school. And she's like a little sister to me. And then in my early 20s, my mom says that the church is wrong. The church has got it wrong. And I'm like, what do you mean the church has got it wrong? The way the church, the way she worded it, the way the church conducts itself, and when I say the church, I mean the church as a whole, not specific churches, but like the church as a whole, which is the body of Christ, does things, it's become more of a political thing than it has church politicalness than it has about God. And you cannot walk into a church these days without finding some sort. This is my example. You cannot walk into a church of some sort without finding some sort of merchandise stand or store set up right outside the sanctuary. And one of the things that happened in the New Testament was Christ and his disciples went to the temple to pray. And they walk in and there's this market in the temple. And Christ, who is the Son of God, went Rambo on this market that was in the temple and said, my Father's house is a place of worship, not a place of profit, or something along those lines. And he destroyed the marketplace that was inside the temple. So that tells me that these little stores that are in the church or right outside the actual sanctuary, which is where the marketplace was outside it wasn't on the outside of the temple. Wasn't in the Holy of Holies. It was inside the temple, which there was the outer wall, the temple, and in the middle is the Holy of Holies. And all churches are set up like that. You have your outer walls, your temple, and then in the center is the sanctuary, or the Holy of Holies. And so Christ, in my opinion, would probably walk into a church and see that store and probably destroy it and go Rambo on it. Rambo. Not rainbow. Rambo on it. Oh my God, excuse me. And then, so my mom proceeds to tell us that we are no longer celebrating Christmas. And we loved Christmas time. In our house, Christmas was a huge deal. Like, every year, Christmas was a big deal. And my mom tells us that we're no longer doing that. And then she explains to us why she feels like we shouldn't be doing it. And it's because the Bible clearly states to beware the way of the pagans. And Christmas and Easter their roots are established in paganism. And, like, the Christmas tree represents the God from the way I understand it. Please feel free to do research and contradict me if you wish to. I'm open to it. As long as it's respectful and everything like that. But the Christmas tree represents Nimrod, who is a pagan god, his penis. And around that time, in paganism, they would, I don't know, I don't think they still do this. I don't know, because I'm not a pagan. But they would essentially gangbang a girl to ensure that she would become pregnant. And then at the time of Easter, or which is when they would celebrate their goddess Ishtar, who she is said to have come to earth in an egg laid by a bunny rabbit or something along those lines. And this giant egg thing. And they will, in order to dye the eggs, they would sacrifice the girl that became pregnant. They wouldn't sacrifice her. They would sacrifice her baby. That baby that was conceived would be used as a sacrifice to the goddess Ishtar. And they would dye the eggs in the baby's blood. That I have a problem with. That is an innocent life. No, that's not okay. No. It's innocent. So, honestly, no problem not celebrating Easter anymore. None whatsoever. So, but Christmas was a little bit of a different story. I mean, it's Christmas. There's music. You know, it's a very special time of year. But my mom was like, nope, we're not doing it anymore. We're going to go back to the Hebraic roots, the Hebrew roots. And I had a really hard time with this. I mean, a really, really, really hard time. And even for a while, I had a really hard time accepting that we weren't going to celebrate Easter anymore. Because again, these are things that I grew up with as a kid. And yes, this is all part of my testimony, I promise. And so, when I was about 12, I had made a commitment to God that I was going to wait till marriage to have sex with someone. I'm only going to have sex with my husband. Well, when I turned 21 and my mom was deciding all this, that we were no longer going to do Christmas, we were no longer going to do Easter, that kind of thing, I really did some backsliding, because it was like, wait, so you're telling me everything I grew up with is wrong? Everything I've known my entire life, everything I've believed is wrong. How does that work? So, and that's not what she was saying at all, but that's what I heard in my 21-year-old mind. That's what I heard. And so I chose to I said, you know what? I am tired of this. I am tired of being this good little Christian girl who everybody loves to watch worship, who, never does anything wrong, has never smoked, didn't really drink. I am tired of it. I'm going to do things my way now. Screw it. Screw God. Screw this whole Christian thing. Screw this whole home break thing. I don't know what my mom's talking about. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. Well, in my form of rebellion, I started drinking more. And when I actually ended up not making not so wise decisions. Most teenagers go through rebellion. Me, I waited till I was 21. Yeah, go figure that one. And I ended up sleeping with somebody who I thought really cared about me and really loved me. Turned out he was just an asshole. Or just a jerk. No, he's an ass. And then I ended up sleeping with another guy around the same time that I was sleeping with this other guy. And somehow, through the grace of God, I never ended up pregnant. Thankfully. I could not imagine having somebody's baby right now besides my husband's. And so, thankfully, I did not get pregnant. And then when I was 22, I was almost 23. When I was 22, I was working for, also when I was 21, I was working for a military mom as her nanny for her 3 girls. And she had gotten reassigned to Colorado. And she was like, I want you to come out with us, you can live with us and, be our nanny. And if you want, you can get another job while the girls are in school, work on the weekends, that kind of thing. And at the time, I was like, no, I don't really want to. I've got too much, I want to be with my family. I don't feel right doing that just yet. And she said, okay. The door's always open for you. And I was like, okay. So they moved to Colorado. And in that time frame, I kind of do things my own way, whatever. I quit going to church. I was just like, screw it. If the church is wrong, why do I need to be a part of it? Whatever, And then, it just became too much. We ended up, my brother, myself, and my brother's wife at the time, and our roommate, who was actually the guy I was sleeping with, or lost my virginity to, and sleeping with, we all lost our jobs at the exact same time. And my parents were taking care of my grandparents at this time also, and both my grandparents had died. And we ended up having to sell my childhood home. And that was really hard on me. I grew up in that house for 22 years, and now it had to be sold. It really sucked. Really, really bad. Like, oh my gosh. It sucked. It sucked. And then we all moved to my grandparents' house, which was me, my brother, my then sister-in-law, my mom, my dad, my niece, my nephew, and 2 dogs. 8 bodies in a 3-bedroom house at the time. Yeah. That was fun. So, that was a nightmare. And so, I got in contact with the lady I had been working for. And I said, is the position to come to Colorado still available? Can I still do that? And she was like, absolutely. You can come to Colorado. And, she had just had an experience with a nanny that she had hired, who ended up stealing clothes and the girls' car seats and whatever. And I was like, all right, I'm coming. I'll come take care of my girls. And I I found myself, I finally removed myself from the situation, and started finding my way back to God out in Colorado. I got involved in a church out there, and I made some amazing friends out there, and I'm still in contact with one of them, and I love her to death. I love Courtney. She's amazing. And so I'm out in Colorado, and I end up finding my way back to Christ. And again, I had people coming up to me going, "Oh my gosh, I just love watching you worship." And that confirmation for me made me realize, okay, I didn't fall as far back from God as I thought I had. And at 22, I rededicated my life to Christ, and got my passion and my hunger back for God. And I now understand more of what my mom was saying when she was telling us that the church has it wrong. There are certain things in the church that the church has misinterpreted, and my husband and I, through our own research and our own time and speaking, and seeking together, and we decided that Easter is not a holiday that we will raise our children on. We will not celebrate that time. We will we keep the Hebraic, if the church is to be, as a Christian, you are to be Christ-like. So why are we celebrating man-made holidays? Why is the church not celebrating holidays designed by God? So people will say, "Oh, well, it's part of the Old Testament, da 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 da. We're not under the law, da 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 da." The holidays have nothing to do with the freaking law. Okay, let's get that clear. The holidays have nothing to do with the law. So we celebrate Passover and Sukkot and the Feast of Trumpets and all the feasts and stuff that God Himself designed. And as for the Christmas thing, we all have finally come to the decision that we treat it more as a cultural thing than it's not Christ's birthday. We do not celebrate it as Christ's birthday. We don't raise the kids, or my niece and nephew, and we don't tell them, "Oh, it's Christ's birthday, he's the reason we celebrate Christmas," and no. That's not in our house. That's not what we do. The kids have never grown up believing in Santa Claus, or the Easter Bunny, for that matter. And that's just kind of our own little thing. And let me think. I think is that my... Yeah, I think that's it. I couldn't really think. I can't really think of anything else other than, now I am still on fire for God. I am a messianic believer with all my heart. I believe that Christ came. He died on the cross. He was perfect. He was the perfect spotless lamb. He was slain. and he rose again, and he lives inside of me. And, you know, I truly believe that Christ will return, and that, yeah, I am a Christian, and I will forever speak on my faith and what I believe, and no one will shut me down. I am not as close-minded as I once was when I was young. There are still certain things that I do not agree with and will never agree with. But the slaying of innocents is the biggest thing. Sorry, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I do not believe in abortion. Sorry. You're killing innocents. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You're killing the innocent. But that's just my own conviction. And nobody will ever convince me differently. But that is it for this video. So I hope you guys have made it through this 30-minute video. Almost 32-minute video. So if you made it through, thanks guys for watching. And I love y'all. And if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comment section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And thanks guys for watching. Love y'all. Talk to you later. God bless.